Hi viewers, welcome back. My name is Adeola Fayehun. At least 13 people have been killed in an ongoing protest in Burundi, a protest that started weeks ago when the president Nkurunziza declared his intent to run for third term representing his party. And last week we spoke with Pascal Akimana about what has been happening on ground, and today we like to hear updates from him about what has happened. A lot has happened since we spoke with him last week. Pascal Akimana is the president engaging for Action in Burundi. That's an NGO based here in the US focusing on Burundi. He's also an activist. Pascal, welcome to SaharaTV.
Thank you for having me once again.
Yeah. Since we spoke with you last week, a lot has happened. Do you mind updating us about what's going on ground right now in Burundi?
Sure. The demonstrators on ground are still putting pressure on the government and on the president himself to come to the realization that actually the people have spoken, and they keep saying, reminding him that actually the word democracy means is the rule for the people, by the people, of the people. If people are reminding him that he shouldn't violate the constitution, then he needs to listen. However, the president yesterday addressed the nation saying that, look, he's going to abide to what the constitutional court have decided, which is he's actually the court members who really sit on that, who were able to give that ruling. They were nominated by him. They were really trusted by the population, by the civil society organization members and the opposition. So then actually the vice president of that court, constitutional court, was already had fled to neighboring Rwanda, saying that he had been put on, he had been pressured to, with other judges, to declare that the president can have legitimacy or can legally run for the third term. So once that the president came yesterday on live saying that he is seeking for the third term, but he will never come back for the fourth term, it angered many people. Actually, many people have been on the street, and today there were many people who were shot. Others were grenade shot, thrown at the civilians who were peacefully demonstrating. But in the retaliation, the very people who were demonstrating on the street, they were angry. Actually, there's a report on ground that shows a civilian who being burnt alive. This civilian saying, some different sides saying, look, he was a militia group who were conspiring with the police, and but sadly he was caught by the civilians, and then the civilians, they used really excessive force, anger, outrage, and once they caught him, and they were able to beat him to death, and they set a fire on him. And on the other side, actually, on the other side, they are accusing, actually, the police accusing the civilians using that whatever they are saying, that the march is not peaceful as they claimed. So, however, we see the army being called each time by the civilians, because the civilians feel that the army is neutral, is not taking sides. So the situation is dire. Those who have been arrested, the civil society organization members or the civilians themselves who were demonstrating and they were arrested, they are in custody. They are experiencing a lot of torture, and many organizations on ground, such as the APRODH, has already alarmed the international community to go and check what is happening in jail. Some people are being chopped off fingers. They are tortured, and they are being fed poisonous food. And then many people, over 600 people, are scattered in different jails. And actually yesterday there have been another delegation from East Africa members, the high-level delegation comprised by the ministers from Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda, who were there in Burundi to address the situation, and inviting the president to come to the emergency presidential meeting that has to take place in Tanzania on the 13th. and they assure the opposition who have been invited to that meeting that nothing will happen to them. Immediately before the meeting ended, the police had come to arrest one of the politician members called Odifax, and Odifax, who was among the organizers, and he was screaming. And so the situation is chaotic. And as we say today, the African Union chairperson, Ms. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, has already said that, look, in Burundi, right now the situation is chaotic. We cannot, they cannot, as African Union, guarantee that there can be elections. Actually, she went further, saying that they cannot even send observers. They had warned the president, they had warned the leaders of Burundi to refrain themselves from seeking the third term, but they never listened. So
let's start with the issue of social media. We're hearing that social media has been banned.
Definitely, yes. Actually, before even the social media, they started closing the radio, some of the popular radio stations. As we speak, many people who are in up countries, different provinces, cannot access the radio stations. That is one of the tools for information in Burundi, that the population, over 60%, are illiterate. And the social media, when you talk about Facebook, Viber, even the telephone, that have been cut, and then people are not having ways of communication. And this also...
Wait, did you just say telephone, like cell phones? You can't call your loved ones in Burundi right now?
Yes, what the government has done has accused the demonstrators of using the telephone and then other social media means of communication to organize themselves or to actually spread the rumors.
I see.
So as a result, they close those tools that the population are dependent on to receive information and to hear what is happening as far as the news is concerned.
What about the judge that fled? We understand that a judge fled so that he won't have to pass the president's bid for re-election. What are people saying about this judge that fled?
The people already are saying that they knew that there was a lot of pressure put on the judiciary or the judge. The judge himself had already expressed the concerns that he cannot work with other judges. They couldn't independently work as the law asks them, because there were a lot of member of the government who were coming to put pressure on them to definitely make sure that they rule in favor of the president, that he has the right to go for the third term. So on the April 30th, that's where the pressure increased, and the judge was able to talk to some of the members, and some of the militia group with the intelligence service members. They came to the judge, who is the vice president of the constitutional court, and he said he couldn't really go there to put the nation in chaos by agreeing that the president has to...
So he's not supporting Mr. President's intention, that's why he fled?
He's not, among himself and other 4 judges, so he decided...
Did you say other 4 judges? Because we heard that the remaining 6 judges have ruled that Mr. President can run in the coming election. So are you saying that maybe they were forced to...
No, the different narrative is those other 4 judges were forced, because they were told if they don't, they were going to be killed, their families were going to be killed, to be physically eliminated, and if they dare to speak, they will be in trouble. So to save their lives, they had to agree and what the police
I see.
And
so of the 7 judges, it's actually 2 judges that willingly ruled for Mr. President to run for the election. 4 other judges were forced to do that. I see. So can you tell us anything about the ongoing examination for primary school students? Today, someone from Burundi wrote me saying that some of the exams have been disrupted because of the ongoing protests.
Yes, actually the union that the education, the union that follows the education side have already advised the government that these demonstrations that are going on, it's a lot of violence that is going on is not conducive for the national examination tests to take place. Actually, many roads are closed, that the roads are going up countries. But for the government to show the international community that there's a peace and there's stability, they had to force that exam. And sadly, the many students were disrupted during the exam. They fled with the exam in their hands. In Bujumbura, it was chaotic, and some other provinces, they never had a chance to do the exam.
Wow.
So and then the students were saying that they needed protection, but they never received protection from the militia and the demonstrators who were angry that they couldn't, bring the students on the classrooms while they knew that it's chaotic, there's no peace, there's violence, the gunshots all over in Bujumbura.
I'm glad you brought up Bujumbura, because someone else also wrote me from Bujumbura saying it's become like hell right now because there's no transportation, people couldn't find buses to go back home from work, shops have been closed. Can you confirm any of this?
Definitely, and one of the anger from the ground actually towards the international community or even the African brothers and sisters that they are so quiet about the situation to speak up in what is going on in Burundi. They said, what is their solidarity right now? People are being killed, they don't have food, they don't have water, and many regional leaders, even African leaders, international community, they cannot do something to prevent what is happening. They just talk rhetoric after rhetoric, and while people are dying. In Bujumbura, as you say, so people are not having all the necessary infrastructure that allow them to function. When you talk transportation, you talk about markets are not open, so they cannot go to work, they cannot go to the market to buy food, they cannot get water. As one of the agencies that regulates the electricity has been shutting electricity on different areas, neighborhoods where there are more demonstrators just to intimidate them. And then the sad thing is that at night, that's where the militia group and the mercenaries that have been reporting that come to shoot people in their homes. All these things are not talked about.
Okay, so apart from the police killing protesters, who else is killing who? Someone else wrote me, by the way, and said this is actually a Hutu-Tutsi issue.
Not at all. There have been reports over a year ago that the ruling party has prepared some militia group called Imbonerakure. They were taken to Congo to receive military training in case the elections do not go in their way, their favor, or in case there's resistance, all these Imbonerakure group will resist. Now, those rebels or those militia groups came back to Burundi. They were armed. There have been reports from even the police themselves that some weapons have been stolen from the camp, and then they find many arms in these groups. Civilians know that. There have been reports from the local organizations. Those Imbonerakure group, those militia that were trained, and the head of them is the former head of intelligence called Adolphe Nshimirimana. He's the one, and with other people that are well known, with the president, of course, because all these are being done on the watch of the president. He's the one who has been organizing this youth, and sometimes they give them the uniform of the police, so that people can think that is the police that is bringing order in the area where they live in. But they know them. They know them when, as soon as they come, they can tell this is a militia group, this is the police.
All right.
The way they conduct themselves.
I'm running out of time, but I just wanted to know the fact that the AU is saying that the election should be postponed. Is that a solution in your opinion?
As many Burundians on ground are saying, there cannot be elections while people are fleeing the country, while there's gunshots all over, while people are dying, others are detained and tortured. Those who were supposed to elect are the ones who are being persecuted at the demonstrations. So she's right, Ms. Zuma, to say that there should not be elections. Elections are supposed to take place in the country where there's peace and security. Right now, there's no peace in Burundi. Right now, there's no security. Right now, the Burundian people are calling for international and international organization, international community, and African community to break the silence, to come to the rescue of Burundian people so that they are not massacred and killed.
And my last question for you is, I understand that the president's wife is a pastor. Is she still seen as an authority with the situation on ground right now? Has she said anything about everything that has been happening?
Nothing at all from the wife of the president, the first lady. She's been just instead going to church and praying, and the president himself was handing out food 2 days ago in the northern province, calming the people, while in the province of Kirundo, and assuring people that there will be elections. And there's a silence from even the people who are close to the president. However, the Catholic Church, the Muslim community, have come together to condemn what the president is doing, to utilize his militia and then some of the police who are on his side. However, actually many people are calling on the army to take stand, to do something so that they can stop the massacres. The president himself, as he calls himself, and his wife, they call themselves the children of God, or the preacher or messenger sent from God. They are doing nothing to calm the situation or to really neutralize the violence. Instead, they are using violence towards the peaceful demonstrators, which is anger many people.
It's a little bit ironic because he was known for promoting peace between the Hutus and Tutsis several years ago, and now to think that he would have his own militia group fighting for him to run for presidency again is a bit ironic. And my very last question, the fact that he said he would not run for fourth term. How was that received when he said, well, if you elect me for the third time, I won't run for the third time, for the fourth time?
The people were outraged. Yesterday, you should have seen the reaction from the civil society organization members and the opposition and the civilians themselves. They say this man, he doesn't know which country or what world he's on, because they have already given him a chance for 10 years to reconstruct the country, as he had said. He failed. So what 5 more years he's looking for will do? Will bring difference in the country. So he's actually running out of ideas. That's why he's bringing an identity or an ethnic card in Burundi, because, as you know, if you say this one is against you, this one is against you, people they will quickly remember that past, and they forget that he has failed to bring jobs. He has failed to punish the people who have done crimes. Impunity has gone up. He has failed to bring the peace and stability in the country, or even to assure the basic needs that people need in order to survive.
Thank you so much, Pascal. We really appreciate you coming back on the show to give us update about what has been happening.
Thank you so much for focusing on Burundi, and we really appreciate for really telling your viewers about what's going on in my country.
Thank you. We are hoping for peace in Burundi. All right, viewers, that has been Pascal Akimana, who is an activist as well as the president engaging for action in Burundi, giving us updates about what has been going on ground. Stay tuned, we have much more to come.